NZ.
Radio Aotearoa.
You're listening to Saturday Morning Sports with Wes. Brought to you by Speedy Signs, Kingsland.
Welcome back to Saturday Morning Sport, WesSA. But here with Drew and Tony. Just before the break, we started talking about the All Blacks, and I agree with you too. I think the biggest threat is our tight five. But I also just want to switch it over to the backs. I'm really excited about our backs this year with some new faces. Well, they're not so new, but I'm excited about Ruben Love. I think he's had a great season, and I think he'll be a positive future with him in the All Black jersey. So just with the backs, I'll start with you too. What do you think about the All Blacks in the backs at the moment?
Oh, look, the All Blacks back line is actually pretty amazing. I too am very happy from what I've seen so far in the test matches that we had so far. They're an All Black team which pride themselves, and it's interesting because when I hear the word that they use a lot now, which is optimism, that means that there's a lot of hope for inventiveness. There's a lot of hope for creating havoc in regards to the game they want to play, but it's all ordered. And so when they say optimism, I look at the players they have. You can play optimistic rugby when you've got players like Cam Roigard. Obviously, Ruben Love has been amazing, and his season has just going from strength to strength. And so he gives you that something extra where he's got a little bit of cheekiness about him, but also that maturity, hopefully, that comes with him playing more games. And I realise there's other guys sitting in the background, such as Bowden Barrett, and even, sometimes Damien McKenzie could look at that, but just having someone that is actually just playing freely and doing what he does, as he's been doing for the Hurricanes and also Wellington. And then you look at our midfield, man, I love our midfield. I love the fact that Geordie Barrett is always going to be that steady influence. He's going to be the solid guy that maintains the direction of that ball going left or right, or actually, bring it back into the forwards. And then you've got guys like the new guys, Billy Proctor's not new, but he is new in regards to his international presence, and I think he's good because he's solid. But to be honest, I've really enjoyed Quinton Tupaia. I think he's been amazing. He's a workhorse. He's just honest, and I love what he does, and he's quite energetic as well. So, you can't go by past any of those players, but I just think they bring that assuredness and a little bit of extra opportunity to attack, because both of them are looking. Obviously, Quinton Tupai's got a little bit more, I believe, than Billy, but they're solid. And then you just look to the wings and to the outsides, man, you can't go past Will Jordan, obviously now the top All Black try scorer in history, taking over Doug Hallett just recently, and I think he deserves every accolade that he gets, because that guy's a try-scoring machine, bro. And then you just throw on the end of these new players that they've got. Obviously, they've got Damien McKenzie, who I still feel is trying to find his feet and find the rhythm and the groove that the All Blacks are trying to release him. And I think he's just trying. And I think they're allowing them to play with a little bit of freedom, but it's just the timing's just not there yet. But when it does, I think these guys are going to run havoc. Hence the reason why I spoke about our forwards. And then you got guys like, obviously, Anton Leonard. I love him. I've been watching him since for the whole season playing in the Japan League, and his work rate is just next level. And I think that's probably why they brought him in, because of his leadership, but also his work rate is just so high, and he's so mobile and fit. He just gets around. And then you can't go past these fellas. These two new guys, I think, have really brought another energy to the All Blacks, and that's Josh Morby. Obviously, he debuted not long ago, and I think he's had a fantastic few games already. He's shown how versatile, but also how quick he is, and he also can beat defences, and he's really smart. And then obviously, if that wasn't enough, then you've obviously got Whanganofo, who's also there as well. That potentially is going to be a game breaker as well. So I'm happy, bro. I think that there's a lot of reason to be optimistic in the way that they play, because these are the type of backs that need to be there so that they can actually take full advantage of a team that's tiring and a team that's a little bit slow in regards to reformatting their defence on the blind or even on the open side. And then they've got the kicking game as well, which hasn't been too obvious, but they kick when they need to kick. So that's me with the backs. I think we're very excited, and I think that getting the forward sorted, I think that we've we're just onto something and getting back to the days where we used to love watching rugby, getting up early hours in the morning and watching them play with a bit of abandonment, just throwing that ball around, which is awesome.
Great one too. I think that you explained it really, really well. I'll just go to you, Tony. What do you think about the backs?
Mate, that's a typical halfback right there. Covers everything. Right? He's just covered everything there, especially our Wesley halfback at that as well. But I 100% agree with what I was looking at too. We know Rogard, we know Love is potentially he's going to keep that spot, and D-Mac at the back, that's the spine, and a midfielder of Geordie there. It's the 13 for me. That the 13, I think Quinton is growing this year, man. I'm really impressed. And because we've got Billy there, and also if Wika comes back in, that's experience that's ready to come in and make game changes. And then the balance of the back three with Morby. I was watching him last week. It's just clever player, right? He's just experienced. He's coming at a later age, but he's just clever, right? He'll do the right things. So you've got Morby, you've got Jordan, and then they can move these pieces around where Jordan can go back at fullback. But if, say, they take off Morby, then they need, in the later stages where Clark came in, then just wreak havoc. Then you've got Fahy can come in, can wreak havoc. So I think that 13 against South Africa, if he gets his reads right, and not just defense, but also their ball playing, which Quinton is becoming there, right? He can run straight, then he can play make as well, like just feeding the outside. I think that's the balance that we'll have, and I think that 13, we know their skill set, it's going to be high. It's got to run ragged, and we've got to run the South Africans around. But our execution of our skill set is our strength, man, and that's what I'm excited to see, that these guys will go to South Africa. You will be tested, but I think, like Stu said, man, so excited that whatever time they're going to play these games, it's like the old days. These kids don't know too. They used to get up early hours of the morning and follow these All Black games with excitement.
Yeah,
and we watch it all.
Thank you, Tony. Hey, just before we have final thoughts, George, just bring you in here. Your thoughts about, so George is not the sports watcher like us, so he's here. What are your thoughts about the All Blacks, George, and just what the fellas have said about the All Black squad?
Well, they raise a lot of money. That's all I actually can say, that they are worth millions of dollars. That's just George's perspective of it.
Well, I think the All Blacks, we had an earlier discussion around Pene Henare coming on board with New Zealand Rugby, and so I think raising a bit of money, and I think it's good. The All Blacks got a really good reputation across the world, and I think the more success they have, the better for us.
Well, it'll be interesting, gentlemen. I mean, like Penny's obviously a former MP, former minister. It's raised the profile, I think, for Māori rugby, and I think they'll do well. What's your thoughts around the appointment of him as the new Kaihoto or CEO for Māori rugby?
Go to you too, and then Tony.
Yeah, I mean, I know Penny from obviously community. Obviously I work in the community a lot, and I see him around all the time. And obviously he's a very forthright guy who wants to make sure that everything he puts his hand to has actually become success, and he becomes responsible for it. So I'm hoping that knowing that he's coming in there, he will work his butt off to make sure that things go right. For Māori rugby, for rugby in general, because he's a politician, he'll say the right things. But I think he's a hard worker. I've seen him work hard, and I just hope that he gets the support that he needs to make sure that the decisions we need to make to move rugby forward in this very challenging time of professionalism, because it's still pretty new for us. And I believe that decisions have to be made on the well-being of the game, the well-being of the players, and obviously the future. Given that he's going to try and hopefully attract finances and attract obviously a little bit more political nous in regards to how we should run New Zealand rugby. And I know there's a lot of decisions that need to be made that people are still not too happy about how we how we actually create rugby in this country, because it seems like we're losing a handle on our grassroots, and it's separating itself from the top level of rugby. And I think hopefully if Pene can come in, he's a man of the ground, he's a community person. Hopefully he can address some of the issues that we see that are developing within a split between the people and the game at the highest level.
Well said.
No, totally agree with you. Great appointment. but all hands on deck there to put some action behind it. Do we have a similar role there for Pacifica as well? Like, I'd probably nominate right now someone like Tu that's been on that grassroots stuff, but just grow that game. We know what village rugby brings, right? But why is that so attracted to our players, the Pacifica players in club rugby? All of them will come out and play the Samoan village game or the Tongan village game. So I'm interested in that as well. I really do. I think the All Blacks is our biggest export. Like, everyone knows the All Blacks all around the world. And when they can fill up stadiums like that, it has to have a trickle effect. They shouldn't forget about grassroots and all the other rugby that comes along with it as well.
Thank you, hey. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being a great talk this morning. And we have got a Pacific person, not on that status role, but we have got the New Zealand Rugby have got a Pacific liaison sort of person, and that's Ronnie Clark.
Oh, very good.
So hopefully his status will go, and definitely his influence within Pacific Rugby is growing. So thank you guys for this morning. Have a great week. You're all things sport with WesSA.
You're with Saturday Morning Sport with WesSA here on Radio Aotearoa.